I mean, like the default could be that if
Well,
you don't know, it's the local user.
So one reasonable question is whether that modification should happen in the activity or in the window manager. Do you want the window manager special things about Sugar activities? Okay. Well, so we'll keep going.
So notifications.
Yeah. So the next thing is when my disk is full. Can I? Yeah, I can make this happen. If I disconnect from the network here. Oh, come on.
It will crash.
Oh, no.
Well, okay. It's supposed to tell me that my networking is disabled, but it doesn't.
Unplug your. That'll do it. Unplug your.
Oh, right.
Unplug your.
Dude, come on, tell me something. Okay, so the existing free desktop notification spec is completely broken, but it,
you guys know.
Yeah. So normally, I mean, it's the thing that
understand how it should work, even if it doesn't.
Even if it's completely failing to work that way. So you connected in to give me a notification. Yeah. I blame the fact that I'm running projector mode. But, yeah. So what's supposed to happen is, there's a little like bubble icon that pops down here that says, your network was disconnected, or your battery is now charging, or whatever the case is. So there's a nice spec for that. I think the plan is has always been that that's not an unreasonable thing for Sugar to support.
If there's questions about how to deal with this stuff.
I have a use case that I'd like to ask about, because I don't know how any of this works. I just know what I like.
Yeah.
And when I'm running IRC and someone says, Gritti ping, no matter where I am, I see the little thing that glows in the taskbar that says, hey, somebody wants to talk to me.
Yeah,
I would like that in Sugar too.
Yeah, so that's great. That's the next, oh, look, my formatting is really terrible. There's also this GNOME panel protocol that puts that little game icon in your notification area, and if you're using Record My Desktop, has a little stop button there and some other stuff. Right. So the notification area, I believe, is GNOME specific, but I think that would also be a useful thing to add if we can do it without pulling in all of GNOME.
Well, there's a standard to do there.
Yeah.
Is that notification area standard? So that notification area standard is part of GNOME right now.
So
it's not.
Yeah. It might be.
Well, because if it's not free desktop, maybe it would be useful to help make it free desktop and then leverage that some way with whatever new window.
I think that's the system tray protocol.
Yeah, I mean, it will be free desktop. If you use an application like Game, that'll work in pretty much any window manager.
Right. Well, except for the Sugars right now. So,
yeah.
And if Evan is in the room.
Yeah, I was but because there is a question of where these icons will be displayed, because we have a full corners notification stuff.
Yeah.
I like the notification system more than the system tray. I read both specs, but I think
okay. So they are both specs.
Yeah. And they're both relatively consistent with what we've been thinking about trying to do. But the tray is visually unlike our setup.
Well, but we've got a frame, right? So
we do.
Going to answer Greg's use case exactly, but if if we just allow, in addition to the existing row of sort of things in this corner, that something else can get dropped there.
Everything in the tray, and then you're supposed to put on the device.
So I'm skeptical about allowing arbitrary activities to add icons to the frame independent of their activity icons. Sorry, like if there's that.
Could you repeat that, please?
Sure.
That's the Pippi swallowed a new user written activity. Although Madeline Ball came up with a better icon for that. Well, okay. So at some point we toss this over to Evan, right? But there is the frame. There is we could also do a little. I don't know. We could do something, but having some way which doesn't have to be. We don't have to recommend that it be used for new activities. We can have some nicer way of speaking from a UI perspective. What is the way that we prefer the games to tell me that something happened, right? I think the notifications stuff is actually a little nicer, which is a little bubble pop up or a bar drop down, let's say, you just got an invitation from X, or so-and-so has just talked to me.
Yeah, and from my perspective, I don't necessarily care what that looks like and what mechanism there is, so long as there is a mechanism, because that's one of the things I already miss, is the inability to figure out what's going on in the various contexts.
And there are free standards there which are reasonable. And the nice thing is they're application level standards. They don't say what it looks like, so Evan can still make it look nice.
So the case that he was mentioning could actually be solved probably without this stuff, by just doing something similar to the thinking of I mean,
well, once we start implementing once we get notifications and alerts implemented somehow, you can just throw it over to Evan and say, what's good for the kids?
Make this.
Here's the design.
You
You can point it other way
way
if you want.
If I have the frame, it like
Okay.
well,
So I want to.
when something changes in the frame, a light icon appears and then goes inside the frame. That's something that we do
if the frame is off, how does the
Yeah, maybe the frame pops up when something interesting happens there.
That's
That's all. That's
horrifying.
Yeah. Well.
What's horrifying?
Having the frame pop up whenever anything happens.
No, the frame does not pop up. The icon
Usually
pops
the
up
icon
and then
pops.
slides off screen
Yeah.
into the frame.
Yeah, I mean,
Right,
little quotes.
Yeah.
You run a long time.
Okay. So the last thing. Yeah.
So, making it work better for Greg is nice. But there's a lot of challenges with significantly changing the GUI and making, and I don't know where
not
the
a GUI
motivation
change.
is for,
So-
let me finish my conversation, sorry. Where the motivation is for, making it work better in general. Okay, that's the GUI, the sugar interface in general, that's nice. I think the most motivating thing about having better integration with window managers is to allow activities or applications to run easily and quickly on a laptop. And I'll give you one real hardcore way to quantify this. There's an activity, it's CMAP tools, it uses multiple windows, it can make it work on sugar. If they can make it work on sugar, we could roll out 50,000 XOs in Panama before the end of the year. So, if we can say, and they have a Fedora version, they say run the Fedora 8. I think we focus on how do we make activities work better. That seems more
Yeah, well,
fruitful.
that's
Tweaks to the
But
GUI and stuff
almost
is
every
nice.
activity has these elements that we're currently
Right.
dropping silently, right? And those activities have these elements for a reason, because they're fundamental to the user experience.
All right.
So it's not just making it work better for me. I'm the canary in the coal mine that says, hey, look at all these activities that I use on a day-to-day basis that are no longer functional because we don't have this basic
Okay,
stuff.
good. As long as
that
we're
these-
focused on making activities work better, then I think, if we're focused on like making the GUI look a little different and better, pop up in a different way.
We're figuring
then
out the
that's
least
awesome.
expensive and least intrusive ways of making sure that functionality that already exists actually works, I think.
So here's another example. Red Hat, it's cross-platform, but led by Red Hat, has come with a very nice interface. I think it's nice. I haven't read it too much. Called Package Kit, which is a standard mechanism to install missing software. Which is if I'm running Totem and I don't have the codec I need, or any number of other things, I need a plugin on my web page. How does that get installed? And the nice thing is that it's fairly back-end agnostic, so the applications don't need to know the details of Yum or our update mechanism or Debian or whatever else is under the hood, or even the RPM-based distros have several different package managers. It's just an interface for applications to say, please give me X. And we use Totem, and Totem, I believe, already supports Package Kit. Implementing a Package Kit backend, at least for a couple common cases, would solve the flash problem. Would solve the, I can't play this movie because I don't have the right codec. Would even solve the MP3 program. Yeah, it would. Usually, the way it gets implemented is click here to indicate that you are not in the U.S. or whatever the case may be, and it installs it, which is.
I was speaking about the root access issue.
Oh no, but that's the thing is that
It doesn't need to do that.
it doesn't. That's all in the back end. So we can provide an implementation that installs codecs in the user's home directory in the right place, and have it integrate nicely with all the existing, all the existing set we use.
That's just basically redirecting a package kit hook to whatever local deployment mechanism that you write.
To something weird and exospecific.
Right.
They specified a number of capabilities